Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's live. So much is going on. We're so excited to be hanging out with you guys today. If you are in game, which you should be, head to the theater, go just like up and to the left a bit on the Terravilla Central map and head into the theater for a little bit of an energy booster. If you have any questions, however, please make sure you're asking them on the YouTube live chat itself. Keep it farmer friendly. We will be scanning constantly for some really good questions, so keep them coming. Also, yeah, Hath, awesome to see so many AMAs now. So many on the AMAs. Yes, there's tons of newcomers watching our AMAs, so I just wanted to reiterate that Luke and I do this every single Wednesday at the same time. So whatever it is in your time zone right now, we do this every single Wednesday. We've been doing it for 2 years now. 2 years of AMAs every single week. So please continue to come hang out with us, ask great questions, and I will bring up Luke.
Hey everybody, happy to be here today. Yeah, it's been a crazy week. We have even more faces and people playing Pixels than we did the last week. And we thought last week was crazy and insane. Yeah, we've unofficially hit over 100,000 daily active wallets playing the game, which is absolutely insane. Yeah, it's just I'm so proud of the team and how far they've come. It's funny because people think that we're this giant, big team, but Pixels is only 10 full-time employees, people. And the amount of work, effort, and dedication this team has put in, it's been awesome. And just seeing like some of the like things finally start to play out for this team has been really, really encouraging. So yeah, the energy has been great. I'm just super appreciative of this team that we're working with. And yeah, we are even more motivated than ever to build the best possible game that we can. It's really exciting because we at Pixels feel like this is really all in our hands now. When you work on something that's really challenging and hard for so long, the best feeling in the world is to start to see, hey, we kind of know the things that we need to build now. We have a very clear path of execution, and we just know the things that we need to do. Not to say that the things that we need to do moving forward aren't going to be very hard, because they will be. But that's been the fun of building a Web3. If we didn't want something hard or hard challenges in front of us, we wouldn't be building a Web3 in the first place. And that's the fun part, right? So yeah, the next 2 to 3 months are really critical here at Pixels. We know that we have to execute. We know that we have to do things correctly. We know that we have to work hard, but it just feels really achievable at this point, and that's a really awesome feeling. So, again, I also want to show some appreciation to the community for all of you guys who are here at these AMAs, who are building this game with us. It's been so exciting, and yeah, all of you guys who are new, who haven't played Pixels before and been hopping into the community, you guys have been a great fit to the community. Like, we are very, very fortunate and lucky to have all of you playing this game and building with us. So I just want to show some appreciation back to all of you as well too, especially as we're going through some growing pains, as we're scaling, and as we're fixing a lot of the issues that we see in the game. The future just looks so bright. And I want to just emphasize again that this is us with all of you. We are all in this together, and we are all building this game together. We couldn't do this without you guys. We couldn't do this without your feedback, your criticism, your positivity too, and all of your ideas as well. So again, we like to say, and I've said this a few times now, like, this is your guys' games. This is your guys' game. We're just the ones building it. So continue to come with that effort and energy. We see all the stuff that you guys post on Twitter. We see all the stuff that you guys put in the candy. We see all the stuff in Discord. Like, that's getting funneled back directly to like direct core team members. And that is such valuable information. Like, we know that you guys want us to do as well as we want to do well. And that means a lot. And, we also take that very seriously. Like, we think it's our responsibility to listen to you, be with all of you. And that's why we do things like these AMAs. We come here, we sit with our community, we try to take your ideas and feedback, and then we also want to give transparency into the way that we build and into the way that we're thinking about things as well too. So with that, I just want to address some of the stuff that we've been working on over the last week, because it's crazy. Last week feels like a lifetime ago. I can't even explain how it feels on my end or like the Pixels end right now, where I've aged a year in a week maybe. But in a good way, right? That means things are moving. That means there's a lot to do. And, it's an awesome opportunity. So over the last week, we have released some really cool stuff, actually. We have gotten server stability in a much better place now. And again, I want you guys to note that we went from about 5,000 DAU to like 100,000 in 2 weeks. That was a large effort to make that scalable.
Amazing. Honestly, amazing from the community side. You're all showing up, having fun with us. Amazing from the team side, the dev side, the support side, all of it. It's incredible.
Yeah. So and a big shout out to our developers. Those were very hard technical problems to solve, and there's still some work that we need to be doing. But the amount of effort and engineering talent that went in behind getting some of these servers a bit more stable is quite extensive. Just to give you some back end knowledge, if you are interested in the nitty gritty details, basically we use this service called Colesius on the back end, and we've been working with the developer of that framework directly. So I want to give him a shout out to Endel. He's been helping us scale that system. We literally have to like make changes to the framework and submit PRs to that framework directly to make some of these changes to help make Pixels more scalable. The tech challenges with this server infrastructure are a bit unique because I've noticed we actually have a ton of people in these rooms simultaneously. Like, the tech behind it's been quite good and impressive. When we can get like 1,500, 2,000 people in a single room, you don't see that in many MMOs. Part of the nice part of the low fidelity of the pixel art is we're able to put a bit more resources into that side of things. But then really the only other people that are doing like simultaneous users in the same spaces are the really, really big companies that are secretly doing military simulations like Improbable or some of those other, large companies that have kind of dipped their toes in the Web3 as well too. So again, shout out to everybody who's helping us get the servers together. And also, shout out to the support that Sky Mavis and their own team have been giving us as well too. I want to call and flag that out because we feel incredibly lucky to be working with the Ronin team and Sky Mavis in general as well. It's really interesting because, Sky Mavis, again, I've said this before, they're really the only team in Web3 that has gone through issues of scaling Web3 games, and the advice, the mentorship, and the direct help they can give us has been invaluable. Like, they're able to basically, like, anytime we come with a problem, it's basically, the Sky Mavis team has already seen it. And they already have like solutions and systems that they can pass down on to us to help address these issues. So they've been coming in and helping us in a lot of these areas. So yeah, big shout out to them, because without them helping us, things like servers, support, all of that would be in an even worse spot right now. So then, yeah, to comment and piggyback on that, we really, really appreciate all of your patience as we start to scale out support systems. We had a really large backlog of new tickets in our support desk and support ecosystem. And again, the Sky Mavis team has been through similar issues, and they've been helping us get better systems in place to actually be able to manage these support tickets and issues. So we have tried to attack this from a couple different angles. Like, one, there are just a few systems in place that we need to scale a bit better when it comes to support. Like, we need to bring on a bit more help, and we have been doing that. And there are like a few things in terms of like organization and how we actually handle support tickets that we've been reiterating on and making a bit better too. So, we're getting in a better spot now. We're starting to cut back into the ticket backlogs. And yeah, a few of the things that we'll have coming out over the next couple of weeks will be dealing with that as well too. Then another issue that we've been addressing, and like a really big announcement that we announced, was this Pixels reputation system. Huge update. I cannot believe how quickly the team put that together. And we're really, really excited about it. So if you guys haven't been following, we announced this really big feature. It's actually massive. And it's a feature that I had been waiting for somebody else to build in Web3 for ages. Basically, we're creating our own reputation system inside of the game. I had really been hoping that we could plug into an external Web3 reputation system. And there are some people that are building some really interesting solutions to that in the long term. But what we realized is we actually need this solution ourselves, because we have more data and more context on user behaviors. And we also have different user behaviors that we want to be encouraging and discouraging as we start to scale this ecosystem as well too. So if you aren't familiar with Pixel's reputation, basically what Pixel's reputation is a new system that we're implementing to basically reward our most loyal users, and to also penalize the bad actors in the ecosystem as well. So when we say bad actors, we mean things like bots, multi-accounts, and basically rule abuse. And this Pixel's reputation system is a good way to do this, where we can basically incentivize the good behavior, punish the bad players without having to take away anything from you as well too. So basically how it works is every single player in Pixels now has a reputation score. Your reputation score is boosted by connecting things like soft KYC, we'd like to call. So that means things like connecting Twitter, connecting Discord, connecting a phone number. That will boost your reputation score. Basically, the more things that you start to add and the more things that you do in the game, will have a higher confidence that you're a good user in the ecosystem. And we'll have a higher confidence that you're a real user as well too. But that doesn't mean that we need to gate that right away. So you can still start to play the game. You can still come into the game without connecting anything and still have an interesting experience. But we can start to say that we trust you as a player a bit more once you start to do some of these things, or you just play the game a lot longer too. Some other things that you can do to increase your reputation just involve gameplay. So things like completing some of the longer quests, like for example, completing the Popberry Wine quest, or completing some of the hot sauce quests. Those are really difficult quests to complete. And we have a pretty high level of confidence. If you get that far through the game, you're probably a good user, and you probably deserve a higher reputation score as well too. Now, note, there are some things that will decrease your reputation score as well. And this is to combat some of the issues that we're seeing with abuse as well. So for example, one issue that we see a lot of the time in the game, especially when it comes to bots and multi-accounts, is we'll have a bunch of multi-accounts or bots, basically people abusing the rules and bending the rules and really breaking the spirit of the game, funneling into a couple of users. So you'll get like somebody making one account, they might buy VIP on it, and then they'll have like 20 accounts that they're also managing, and then they'll send trades to these 20 accounts. What this reputation system now will introduce is this concept of trade reputation in addition to all of this, basically. So it's interesting because sometimes these accounts are bots, but sometimes there's been real players that have been doing this as well. And both of these systems, this system in general is basically trying to make sure that that isn't abused in a bad way. So basically, this new system introduces a system where if you have a reputation score, if you're trading with a lot of low reputation users, and when we say low reputation users, that means basically users have done nothing like connecting their Discord, Twitter, or any of these soft KYC components, or haven't progressed through the game in a very long way, it will decrease your reputation score. That's important to note, basically. And the system's becoming more and more automated. We'll probably have a full automation of the system in quite soon. But yeah, just note that basically it's a way for us to, encourage you to, trade with players who are real players. If you have a bit of doubt or question on it, then maybe don't be trading with these accounts. And also, this will cut back on a lot of the abuse that we're seeing as well in that certain area. So yeah, just note if you're one of those people that have been taking advantage of that, system and loophole, we're not going to ban you anymore, but your reputation will decrease, and that means a lot of your, benefits in the game will decrease as well. Things like your trade limits, things like your withdrawal limits will decrease if your reputation decreases. It's a way to protect our users that are, following the rules in the game, and a way to basically just make some of the economics work a bit better as well too. So on that note too, that does mean even if you hold land or even if you purchase VIP, if you're participating in some of this bad behavior that will decrease your reputation significantly, then that might mean your trade limits and your withdrawal limits also decrease. Purchasing a VIP or owning land will decrease or will increase your reputation score immediately, quite quickly. But again, there are other systems in place that will decrease it if you're participating in bad behavior. It's an interesting system. We're really excited to go and launch it. It's live in the game now. We haven't shown users their reputation score right now, but we will be making that publicly visible in the next probably 1 to 2 weeks, I would say. So basically, you'll be able to see the reputation score of other users. We might not show the score directly. We might make it more of like a red, yellow, green, just to start at first. But then this reputation score will also directly feed into the amount that you're able to withdraw, trade, and all of that as well too. So we'll answer more questions on this reputation system. But we're pretty confident in the flexibility around this. And then there's some other really cool things that we can start to integrate as well. Like for example, if you have a Ronin address, or if you've been taking advantage of the RNS system, Ronin name system, they had a huge launch yesterday where I don't know if you guys have been taking advantage of that, but I bought like 3 or 4 Ronin domains myself yesterday. And I know some of you tried to snipe my domains. I saw that. So if you have a .ron that I want, just give it to me.
There's a user actually that got a bunch of them and said for us and said, I'll send them to you guys. So I think they were just trying to secure them so that other people didn't, which is just a testament to the wonderful people we have in our community.
Yeah, that was very sweet. So appreciate that. But yeah, that's like some of the other stuff we can start to add too, where if you start to connect or if you own a .ron, a .ron address, yeah, that increases your reputation. It gives us a higher confidence that you're a real user. We have another activation coming next week too, which will do a similar thing. That activation is going to be super fun. We're very excited about it. We've hinted and teased at it a little bit. And I think some of you have put together those pieces and maybe sleuth enough to figure out what's coming, but I don't want to leak it. We'll be announcing it next week. And I think they'll even join us on the AMA next week. It's going to be a very fun activation. It's going to bring some new content, a new leaderboard, some prize pools. We're very excited about it. And those prize pools are, sounding pretty significant too. So the support and the activation there is going to be really fun. We're hoping to launch it next week. So yeah, expect some new content, expect some prize pools, more competition there. And yeah, we'll probably base it somewhat around reputation as well. So yeah, reputation is something we want to start to integrate even more into the game loops. Like for example, this left-right gameplay, that's been one of the issues that we've seen some misalignment with incentives right now. Right now, we didn't have any barrier to enter left-right. And obviously, you guys have seen some people try to take advantage of the left-right game. We have implemented a few features that have decreased impact to people who try to abuse left-right. Like for example, now if you win a pet coupon, what we are doing is we are manually reviewing everybody who tries to redeem that pet coupon. So if you see anybody who seems a bit suspicious, who might have won a pet coupon, or you kind of think they might have cheated, let the team know. We have 24 hours to review each pet coupon winner by hand. And if we deem them to be a cheater, if it seems like a very suspicious account, we can confiscate the ticket, put it back in the pool, or maybe even give it in a giveaway. So just stay vigilant. Maybe tag community team if you're a bit suspicious in the Discord whenever somebody wins, and we'll take a look and basically we can minimize impact there. But then yeah, in the future, what we want to be doing with some of these mini games and some of these incentive designs is kind of gating them towards reputation as well, where pixels will remain free to play. We want you to be able to get into the game as easily and quickly as possible. We don't want a large barrier to actually start playing the game, but to take advantage of some of the benefits and some of the fun parts of pixels, like trading and getting all into that, you might need to start doing some of the reputation things. So again, we don't want to require hard KYC. That was kind of the whole point behind this. Like, we don't want to make you scan an eyeball. We don't want to make you scan your face, anything like that. And honestly, we don't even want to hold that data. That is scary to us. We want nothing to do with that. But we do want to start to implement more features that kind of increase our confidence in the fact that like these users participating are real unique users. And yeah.
Sorry, I just wanted to hop in on this point too, because, you know, over the past like couple weeks, especially through this extreme growth and stuff, it's no secret that our support team has been absolutely slammed. And so this is also a way of like having a technical solution to quickly defining good players versus the potential bad actors. And so all of this is also going to decrease support response time, which will just be amazing for us, but like for you guys specifically. You know, we completely agree with you. We've had people saying, oh, it's been 4 days, it's been 5 days since a response from support, and it's because they've been absolutely flooded. So this is also a solution to make support more sufficient for you as well. So there's so many benefits to the system. I'm so excited for it. Everything that Luke has been saying. Yeah, anyways, back to questions. We've got a lot of questions coming.
Exactly. And here's one important point with that too. Well, you guys raise the trade limit amount for non-VIPs. It's not fun when I can't trade stuff. Exactly. So trading is like one of the most fun parts of any game like this. I grew up playing RuneScape. I was a fisherman in RuneScape. I just spent all my hours in the fishing guild, farming sharks, and then selling them in World 2 Falador, selling sharks 1000 GP each. Like, that's the fun part of it, right? So we want that gameplay to be more accessible to more of our users. And that means that we need a bit of like more higher confidence that you guys aren't taking advantage of rules. So that's the perfect tie-in with the reputation system, essentially. Like, if you start to build reputation inside of Pixels, we can actually give you more of an allowance to trade freely inside of the game as well too.
Yeah, and then this is a great other question here. So would it be risky to help new players? So helping new players has been such a core, amazing, beautiful thing of our community. So the answer to this is no. If you're helping a normal human amount of new players, like, you're not going to be helping 100 players within a few minutes, right? But maybe someone that was doing something that they shouldn't be doing would be interacting with that many new players at once, right? So it's really interesting. People often come in and ask like, oh, if I do X, Y, Z, will I get caught? And my response is, if you're doing anything and you're acting like a human would, you'll be fine. Because obviously I'm not going to give you specifics on what we're looking for in botters and whatnot, because we can't make that information public. But if you're doing something that a human would be able to do, you'll be fine. Truly, at its core.
I will say, though, that's kind of the point of this reputation system, to actually make it really clear what affects it. So as we start to build this out and make it more publicly visible, you'll actually get to see the impact all of this has. So the whole thing that we're messing around with right now is basically dealing and like changing the weights. So basically, how much does like Twitter add to your reputation score? How much does Discord add to your reputation score? How much does a phone number add? And the key thing is, like, if a new player starts to add in a few of these things, they'll increase their reputation, and it's much less risk to you in that end as well too. And then eventually we can even make all the rules transparent. Like, okay, how much does trading with a new player without any reputation affect the score? You'll get to see. And that's a much easier way for us to basically balance the economics around it too. Like, we'll kind of get to see like what the maximum like damage an account can get if they, have land and we're like a bad actor. They buy VIP and they were a bad actor, and we can actually limit it through rules of the game rather than our discretion. So that's one thing that we want to start to move away from. The ban appeal system was not very Web3, and it just wasn't really scalable either. Like, I really didn't like the concept of us having to ban people and remove an asset from them. Just not in line with the Web3 ethos. And this is a way that we don't have to do that anymore. Basically, it's a way to programmatically show you guys like how to play the game by the rules. And there's no need to like worry about the whole ban appeal system, basically.
Yeah, it takes the element of being subjective out of it, right? Because we don't want to have to do that. What's right to me might not be right to you, and then there's a misalignment, right? So this is really just like exactly what Luke said, programmatically, like kind of showing what is causing these. It's kind of like No, I'm not going to say that actually because it's not. Never mind. Anyways, we have so many questions to get to. Luke, is there more that you want to address with the reputation before we hop in?
No, I think maybe one last point is, yeah, again, remember, this is a live game that we're making, and we continue to make the game better. So there are a few systems in place right now that we know that we need to change, and there's parts of the game that we're going to be making significant upgrades to. For example, or just to give it like a piece of the picture, we're working on a really big release called Chapter 2. And Chapter 2 is basically going to change the game completely as you guys know it, and especially a lot of the core loop, especially when it comes to resource generation. So right now, how it works is when you come into the game, basically every single player can generate more resources as they come into the game. And this will actually change pretty significantly in Chapter 2, how we deal with resource generation. It's going to tie a lot more into the land, and it's going to tie a lot more into guilds. So guilds is one feature that we're really excited to start to support in the game through actually some very unique features that we'll be releasing in the next like month to 2 months. And yeah, it seems like we actually might start to pull some of these features in a bit earlier than we had expected as well too. So Chapter 2 is going to be a much bigger release that we're working towards. The team is shooting to release it in February to March, it looks like right now. But there actually are key pieces of Chapter 2 that we're likely going to move forward and release even sooner. Like, for example, this guild feature, I really want to get this one out sooner. But then, yeah, just note that a lot of the resource generation and some of the core issues that you guys might be seeing with the Pixels economy and all of this are going to be addressed in Chapter 2. Like, this is our, like, basically we're taking all the lessons that we've learned over the last year as we've been building the game and making significant changes to make these systems make a bit more sense and to fit into the long term and be a bit more sustainable. So we know there's weaknesses. Like, we're not denying that at all. The whole point of what we're doing here at Pixels is we're building with all of you and we're making the game better in real time. And you get to be an active part of it. It's pretty cool, right? So like you guys who have purchased VIP, even if you only purchased it for 3 months, like you're in it for 3 months with us, right? You bought it for 3 months, you're here, and you're going to see the game get better over the next 3 months. And that's what we want you to feel. Like, we want you to feel like you have some part of ownership in this ecosystem and you're kind of doing this with us, right? So yeah, we're super excited about that. And yeah, just note that. So I guess with that, we can start to get in some questions and start to like dig into all of this. But yeah, we have some time to do that now.
Oh man. Okay. First of all, I'm from the Philippines. I stayed up for the AMA, my first AMA. Welcome. We're so happy to have you join us. I think it's like 4 a.m. for you. So amazing. Thank you so much for being with us, and shout out to anyone in a different time zone. Okay. I'm going to bring this up, but I'm not going to acknowledge it. Cool. Okay.
You know what's hilarious? I didn't even know that released into the game.
I didn't either. There's only one person on our team that was aware of it, and that is the person that did it. And
I love it.
You can guess who it was. I literally, when people were talking about this on Twitter, I was like, "Oh, it's Photoshop. It's Photoshop."
I thought they photoshopped it. I literally thought they photoshopped pitching. I thought it was a great joke. I thought the joke was amazing.
Our game producer, if you guys know who that is, he snuck this in without any of us knowing as like a little. I think it's hilarious. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, pet tickets are unfair. I've been putting in 1,000 tickets per day and no pet. I feel you, okay? I've been doing the same with winery and apiaries. I haven't gotten one yet. It's totally random. So keep going, keep trying. Yeah. I wish you the best.
Just remember, there's like 100,000 daily active wallets competing for 200 pet coupons. So there's not that many to give. And it's crazy because we didn't really expect this many people to be playing, to be completely honest. Like, if we had known this many people were coming in, maybe we would have done like 1,000 to 2,000. But don't worry, because there's going to be more pets coming. And yeah, that's one thing that we're thinking about too. Like, we might introduce pets a bit earlier than we had expected as well too. So like, one thing about our upcoming token, the Pixel token, is like that's going to be one of the utilities of it, to mint pets and do some really fun stuff with the creation of pets. But it might make sense to bring that in a bit sooner before we get the Pixel token out, doing that with Barry or something like that as well too. Not confirmed, I'm just going to tease that a little bit, but that's kind of what the team is thinking. And if we do it in that capacity, what we're thinking is, we might make it accessible to like only people who have gone through a lot of the end game quests. So just going to tease that, and that might be a potential reason to get through end game quest as well too. So yeah, this person asked, what is the purpose of pumping skills and professions in the current and future version of the game? So right now, one, like people just like getting quests and levels up. There's actually a couple unofficial leaderboards of Pixel skills and quests. The number one player right now, his name is Vanquish. He has
like Vanquish. Is it Cam Temp and then Chicken Pet?
Yeah, they're like the top three players in the game right
how
now.
he's going to take over and he's going to get to the top.
Yeah, Chicken Pet is determined to get onto the number one spot.
I will not be surprised if Chicken gets there. And if you guys don't know who Chicken Pet is, go to our Discord because he's our top person in our Discord.
He's the top messenger by a large margin.
By a large amount. By a large amount. All right. Okay, let's see. Why are potato seeds not tradable? Why are the other ingredients not trading?
Yeah, so we updated some trade values inside of the game. So part of this was we noticed some abuse and some loopholes around some of the resources in the game. Softwood was a big one that bots were abusing. Some of the UGC items were a big one that the bots were abusing. And some of the seeds were a big one. So we stopped trading on those particular items. So if you want to actually sell them, now you're going to have to grow them. Sorry. Hard work pays off. And that actually makes those seeds harder to get, which is interesting. If you are hot potato seeds only available to landowners still?
Yeah.
So
that one, yeah, we'll see. Okay. Next question here. Okay, we kind of talked about a lot of this kind of stuff, but how is the Pixel team looking to expand and prepare for even bigger and faster growth of the game? So I'll start by saying we've been leaning on the Sky Mavis team a lot for advice and help in this area because they've been through it. They know what's up. We were on a call with them late last night, and the amount of the wealth of their information that they have, it was just incredible. So we've been working with them very closely on working through these growing pains because that's what they are. I mean, they're growing pains, and we're working very hard to scale and make this sustainable. And our team is amazing and has been doing an incredible job.
So again, one thing that surprises people is our team is only 10 full-time employees right now. We are not this huge resourced team. And that actually, it sounds bad at first, but it's actually a huge advantage. So the reason that we're able to build and iterate so quickly is because we have such little overhead when it comes to meetings, planning, development, all this kind of stuff. I actually feel like this team size is almost perfect for right now. And we don't intend to scale team too much in most of the core areas for a little bit because we just move so quickly. This team is like bonded. This team like works together really well. We're operating really well and efficiently. It just makes sense to like keep this going for a little bit. But that does mean that we need to scale some areas as well. Like for example, support is one area that kind of is separate from the rest of the team in a way. And that's an area where we need to scale a bit more. We probably need to get more pixel artists, things like that too, as we start to plan out chapter 2 content. But like core team, I think we're perfect right now in terms of like size and scalability. Like maybe we want like one more dev, but I think the biggest mistake that growing companies can do early on is overhire. It just adds, and honestly, we did it at one point as well too. It just adds overhead, and it's surprising because the more people that you have on a team does not mean you're going to build more, you're going to move quicker. That's actually quite the opposite a lot of the times. Like it's just more overhead and like more people to coordinate and do all that. So we're going to maintain this scrappy mindset for a little bit.
It's a fine balance, right? It's a fine balance of making sure that, there's not too much congestion in getting things out quickly, but also that everyone has sufficient time to do what needs to get done. So it's been interesting. It's been interesting. Yeah. And then I have been asked by so many people about a job. We are not hiring at the moment. But you can pay attention. We do have a job board. I forget what the website we use is, but you can pay attention to that.
There is one position that I want to hire for quite soon, actually. And I want to hire from the community. So we'll post something about that. But we're probably looking for somebody to come in and help with some UX design or some game design. But when I say game design, it's more around like the UI and the understanding of like some systems. Basically, we have like high level systems that we have mapped out. We need somebody to come in and basically help us like move that high level system from something a systems designer and game development can understand to something our devs can actually concretely build. And yeah, we'll probably continue to hire from the community. It makes sense. We want somebody who understands the game, who understands Web3, who understands like our unique challenges rather than hiring from somewhere else. So I'll keep you guys in the loop around that. And yeah, that's the plan basically. Hire from the community and hire from people who are already active and like kind of believe in what we do.
Yeah. Okay. When does merch ship? Okay, so I actually just touched base with our merch guy, and things are just wrapping up on the production side, and then they will all be shipped to him and his team, and then he will start to ship them out. So I'm assuming shipping will start in a couple weeks, and I'm so excited for it. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh, I pinned this because I thought it was funny. Heidi's focusing on reading the comments. Yeah, because you're going up, and I'm like, it's a lot. It's a lot. You guys are asking so many really great questions.
Here, I can post some of these.
Yeah, go for it.
Current started ones while you read the other ones. Yeah. So
make sure you unpin them. Make sure you unpin them. Okay.
Yep. So somebody asked, our DAU numbers. That's DAU, not unique DAU, correct? So yeah, that is something very important to note, especially when you evaluate any Web3 game. Daily active wallets does not mean daily active users. It's very different. And yeah, it's, we're not trying to hide anything. We're not trying to be dishonest about anything. Like the whole point is being transparent about the issues and problems we're facing. So yeah, the 100,000 daily active wallets, that's daily active wallets. We do a lot of bot prevention and detection. Like you'll see people coming into the Discord quite often being like, why can't I connect? It's because, they've already failed a few of the like preliminary stuff that we add on. But then, yeah, it's no secret either. There are some bots that are playing the Pixels game. That's going to happen whenever you basically add incentives or you create like a Web3 game. Most Web3 games, I will be completely transparent, are doing a much worse job at us than what we're doing. If you look at some of the top Web3 games in the space, I would assume that some of their numbers are like 95 to 99% bots, which is unfortunate, right? So that's why we introduced this reputation system. Basically, botting is something that is always going to be an issue, and it's a game of cat and mouse. But what can we do about it? We can minimize their impact, and that's the whole point of this. So, if you create a bunch of fresh accounts, we want to minimize the impact that you can actually do on game economy and on player experience. So this reputation system is basically our go at minimizing the impact. You have to build your reputation up. You have to do things like the soft KYC. You have to like play the game and get really far through before we actually allow you to really participate in game economy. It's basically a way that we can build up trust with you as a user and with us as the ecosystem. So yeah, it's an interesting problem. A lot of founders don't like to talk about this because the harsh reality is that if more founders talked about this, people would be digging into their numbers a bit more. It looks like from our traffic, if you can actually look externally at traffic coming into Pixels, we had about like 65,000 real unique users come into the game yesterday. So that puts, you can do the math there. It puts the bots as like about 30%, which is not great. But yeah, we're working to improve that. And just to give you some context too, like that's about the numbers of most MMOs that you might play. So at one point, RuneScape, my favorite game of the past, that was 60% bot accounts, which is crazy, right? It's not even a problem that's unique to Web3. But obviously, again, we want to make sure that we minimize impact, we increase player sentiment, and that's why we're introducing this reputation system to really tackle that. So yeah, DAU, DAW, very different. It's important to call that out. That's also why we're about to form even more partnerships with players or different companies that can help us solve this issue even further and start to incorporate like optionally more real world data. So yeah, I don't want to spoil those partnerships, but like one that's on the Ronin chain right now, it's called Click. They do like pulling data from Steam accounts, for example, and that's a great data point. If we can pull a Steam account, we see that you have like lots of hours into games that are really similar to Pixels. Like that probably builds out further proof that you're a more legitimate user, and you can basically shortcut some of the grind to get a better reputation by connecting things like that if you want.
Sorry, that just made me think about how on Discord it says that I'm playing A Sprite pretty much 24/7. So if you guys don't know what A Sprite is, I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, but it's like a pixel art software, but you buy it through Steam, so Discord thinks it's a game. So, anyways, my rep is going to be like pixel art 24/7.
Yeah.
Okay, actually, all of this also leads to another question that I wanted to address. So, Nigerian can't connect phone numbers. So, there, and some other people in chat were like, I'm not comfortable connecting my phone number, whatever. That's fine. Okay. So, first of all, I'm sorry. There are a few countries that for some reason our system just doesn't work with their phone numbers, and it's unfortunate. However, you don't have to connect every single thing. So, that's the beauty of this reputation system, is that there's going to be so many different ways that you can have a good reputation. Honestly, if you're a good player, you've been around for a while, you play often, you're going to have a good reputation. All of these other added things are extra bonuses, like having VIP, owning land, trading with good people. Like all of these other things, they're just like different data points that we can pull from. And like we addressed earlier, it kind of takes like the subjective part out of all of this review, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and yeah, that's the whole point of like why we're providing different options too. So if you're not comfortable connecting a phone number, we get it.
Yeah.
You don't have to, and like the whole point is we want to give you like enough data points where we can start to understand some stuff. And again, you can even do this through gameplay, like getting further through gameplay, and getting further through quest progression is like a great data point for us, because at that point we have enough information of like how you've actually interacted with the game, where we can start to build our own assessments on if you're a more legitimate user or not. But then again, that's why we offer multiple solutions. That's why we're not even like requiring like hard KYC or anything like that. It's just like the more data points that we get, the better of an idea that we can get. But then things like buying VIP, things like owning land are a good way to shortcut that if you want to get your reputation up higher sooner.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, so how would I know if I'm trading with someone who has a low reputation?
Yeah, so soon we'll be making the reputation publicly visible, at least to yourself, so you'll get to see your own reputation score. And what we'll likely do is when we're trading, we'll give you like a red, yellow, green symbol. So like maybe don't trade with the red symbols. Red means stop. If you're really worried about that.
Yeah. But also I'll say, like, if you trade with one person that has a bad reputation one time, like it's not going to destroy the whole point of the system is to stop the bad actors, not the good ones. So if you do trade with one person that has a bad reputation, it's not going to destroy your score, right? But if you do it all the time, that's when it's going to be a bit of a red flag to the system, right?
Yep. And here's a good note here too. So privacy is linked to my rep in game, who guarantees me that my personal data will not be sold to third parties. So we're not holding any of your personally identifying information at all, including phone numbers and emails. That's actually encrypted and handled by a company called Stitch through authentication. So basically nobody gets access to it. It's encrypted. We don't get to see it. We just get to see if you connected. Same thing with things like Discord. Same things with things like Twitter connection. We don't actually read your data. We just see that you connected. And same thing with basically like long-term stuff too. Like if we did hard KYC stuff, if you wanted to optionally do that, then like that's not ever something that we want to own. Basically, there's gonna be other solutions that come in, and we want to read only. And then it's also why we're gonna introduce things like owning like a Roam address, or any of that kind of stuff. If you are involved in like RNS, like that's a better idea. And we're probably going to start to introduce things like assets you hold in your wallet. Like for example, if you own some other NFTs on the Ronin network, if you own some NFTs in your ETH wallet, like that's a good way to proxy it as well too. So basically, no personal data is stored. We have your in-game data, so like we know how you trade. We don't store chats, we don't store conversations, anything like that. Like the data we store in-game is just like trade data, the actions that you do in-game, like how you progress through quests. It's nothing personally identifying.
Okay, a couple more questions. So does reputation score also apply to non-VIP? It applies to every single player in the game, all accounts. If being reported decreases your reputation, what if someone with 100 accounts or an influencer mass reports you?
Yeah, so the reporting is something that this is what we're trying to figure out right now, the weights on and like the actual values of like which we increase and penalize. So reports, we might put less weight into them, like maybe one report does more damage, and then 20 reports do much less afterwards, for example. But like that's the kind of stuff that we need to figure out, and that's the kind of stuff that we're basically toying with over the next like week or so. So yeah, we have like a spreadsheet of like what each action might do, and we're basically kind of mapping it by user persona. So like we want to make sure that VIPs who just purchase VIP have like full privileges when they start. And then if they start to add in like the other stuff, it's more verifiable. But then also if VIPs engage in like 200 bad trades in a day, like let's decrease their reputation. So it's more things like that. The reporting stuff sounds like there's like potential for abuse. So we'll probably lean that back a little bit and not weight that so heavily. But it's all a bunch of figuring stuff out.
I can address this now. I clicked on it by accident. Okay, so we've been talking about how we will be lowering the cost of VIP soon. So the reason for that is that we want to keep it at a consistent US dollar price, and the Ron token has increased over the past several weeks. So we wanted to bring it back down so that it's not just inflating like crazy. So Luke, do you want to talk about?
Yeah, we announced that we're going to be changing that last week. That was your guys' warning. We're hoping to get that change in this week. So just note that we're going to stabilize the price. And yeah, that's your warning to that. So yeah, that's hopefully coming this week.
All right. Let's see. Other questions we had here. Oh, I pulled this aside. Hi from New Zealand. Hello. My mom is from New Zealand, so that's very close to home for me.
I lived in New Zealand for a while too.
Yeah,
Little town called Raglan. Worked on a dairy farm in New Zealand for a while. I love New Zealand. I'll probably move there eventually.
We should do team trip New Zealand. Be expensive.
New Zealand's where actually like what became Pixels started. Like it was during COVID. I was on the west coast of New Zealand in this town called Punakaiki, literally completely by myself in the middle of the bush for 2 months. All I did was eat, sleep, do yoga, and code, and I came out with like the first prototype of what became Pixels. So very, very warm in my heart there.
Okay, let's see. What was it? Plans for the cotton candy carnival ratio for milk energy makes it hard. Yeah, okay, so I pulled this aside because you're calling something hard. Not everything in a game is easy, okay? It's not. Milk is a pain in the butt to get, okay? There have been things like this in the past where even I play the game all the time and I'm like, oh, milk. So I feel you. Keep going, keep trying. Okay, let's see here. How can SocialFi succeed in a gamified way, and how will it work alongside the guild feature?
Yeah, so I don't want to spoil too much on this guild stuff that we are coming out with, but I think it's going to make a lot of noise in the space when we do it. Yeah, I have been following everything in Web3 religiously for the last 2 years. And part of what we're trying to do here at Pixels is really look at the best parts of Web3, and we want to see how they can make our game better. And some of the really interesting stuff that came out over the last 6 months have been around SocialFi. And I've been following that so closely. I think some of the SocialFi things that we've seen released haven't quite worked as standalone products in the way that they've currently been implemented. Like, for example, usage of friend tech is down a bit. And my take on that is, friend tech and companies like that introduced really interesting new mechanics that Web3 can unlock. But the end product there wasn't really built out in a way that provided value in the long run. I have a friend tech account, and I'm not so interested in following like gated content from NFT influencers. Like, to me, honestly, that's just like not a huge value when it comes to something I want to put my time and energy into. But that bonding curve mechanic was actually a really, really interesting mechanic in Web3, right? And that's the kind of stuff that we're interested in. So it's like, can we take some of the parts that work and some of the stuff in Web3 that we're seeing and see if we can actually incorporate it into the game and incorporate it in interesting ways? That's what we've been looking for. So yeah, that's what I'll say. Like, there's probably gonna be a SocialFi guild feature coming from Pixels. And yeah, I'm expecting that to make some waves.
Okay, it looks like we've got tons of people tuning in from Brazil. So hello. I was going to say hola, but I actually don't know how to say hello in Portuguese. Is it the same as Spanish? I don't know. I'm not sure. Okay, guys, tell us how to say hello in Portuguese if it's not hola. Okay. Probably already flooded. Here we go. Oh, no, it's not updated quick enough. All right. Okay, there's one question, couple questions, Kate. So landowners are wondering if they should buy VIP or if you get VIP access to the VIP sauna. So VIP and land ownership are different things with different benefits, and we're going to continue to build this out. I talk about this a lot in that there's a lot of different user personas within the Pixels game. So you have free-to-play players, you have people that are here to farm and farm away, we have people that are here for the social aspect, we have landowners, we have VIP players. So there's a lot of different personas, and we have to kind of satisfy each of these personas with different features, right? So these are two different things. You can be both. You can be one. So landowners are not going to have access to the VIP sauna, but more things will come, right? And it increases your reputation score, which is also pretty cool.
Yeah. Here's a good question I'll pull up. What are the team goals?
Oh, yeah, this is a good one.
So this is a great question, honestly. It's funny because our team goals have stayed the same for the last 2 years. And our goal is to build one of the biggest social casual games in the industry. And when I say industry, I don't mean Web3 industry, but I mean gaming industry. And we're really excited about Web3 because we think it brings a lot of really interesting new mechanics and new ways to grow games that don't exist in the traditional Web2 games market. If you haven't been following Web2 gaming and what's going on there, it's interesting because a lot of social casual games are shutting down or they're having a really hard time with their economics. And the cool thing about Pixels is all of this growth that you guys see, we've done on like $10,000 of user acquisition spend. We haven't spent money on marketing. And we're hitting like numbers where it's actually getting a bit impressive to people outside of us, and they're kind of understanding, oh, like this is like a potential interesting future for web or for gaming, not just for Web3 gaming. So yeah, the team's goal is to build as big of a game as possible. Not talking about like as big of a Web3 game as possible, but the key thing here is we think that we can use Web3 to do it. And that's the whole point of what we're doing. So we're trying to build a massive game. We're trying to build something that people love. We're trying to build something that people find fun and like actually really enjoy. And we really think that Web3 is the path to go through that.
All right, just a little aside. So it is hola, spelled differently. So hola to our Brazilian folks. And one other user is saying, you have a lot of people from Latin America, so can we speak Spanish? Lo siento, no, nosotros no podemos hablar bien.
See,
Luke especially, terrible accent.
Whoa. I mean, I have a terrible English accent too, though. I'll go to Australia and nobody can understand me.
All right. Yeah, I'm learning a bit of Spanish. My partner's from Madrid, so entonces, what is it? Tengo un acento, maybe, de Madrid. So that's another layer too. I lisp. Yeah. I have a Spanish accent.
Now we'll never get that question again. Nobody's gonna ever want us to speak in.
There you go. That's there great. You go. But we do have subtitles after the fact. We add subtitles to the video recording on YouTube in I think about 15 languages. And I do know there are some pretty cool AI tools out there that will live translate. So look into those for your specific language if you struggle to understand our English, which I apologize for.
Yeah, here I've got one. Right. Will it be possible to breed pets? So we're going to be doing something a bit different than breeding. It's going to be more like combination, which is going to be a very fun mechanic. So basically, these pets that you guys see in the game, all of their traits are interchangeable. Including like color, including like head and body. And it's gonna be really fun when we start to get other pet types into the game as well too. So how we're going about pets is we'll be releasing new types of pets in limited batches, basically. So this Genesis pet mint was around these dinos, only 200 dinos in the game, or 225 maybe, that's the cap on it. And there will never be more dinos in the game. But we're gonna be introducing things like chickens and horses, like some other really fun stuff. I think there's like there might be an elephant one. Like we have like 20 of them.
Wait, I don't think I've seen that. Is there an elephant?
Maybe now.
There's not, guys.
Okay, well, yeah, now there should be.
There should be. So cute. Like the little so we have a mayor system which has been put on pause for quite a while as we've prioritized other things. But Elephantium, who's a big user in Pixels, was mayor the last time, I think. And if you go to the Pixels NFT, or not, sorry, the Pixels avatar chooser, you can see there's a couple fun little heads in there. So that was his choice when he was mayor. We had a little elephant added to the game, so you can walk around as an elephant head. So there's some good art out there, is what I'm getting to. We love we love elephants.
Yeah, basically, it's going to be turning 2 pets into 1. So if you guys follow, this is one of the things we're borrowing from like other things we've seen that work well in Web3. Open checks. I think that's such a cool project, and I really liked the idea of the open edition mint, but then the combination to introduce rarity after the mint. And this is something that we're going to be trying with pets, basically. So somebody might decide to combine one of their dino pets with a chicken, create like this weird dino chicken combo. But then that means there's one less dino out there as well. That's like a pure dino. So it's going to introduce some fun mechanics there, and we'll see how that goes. But I'm somewhat optimistic about it.
Okay, do you want to choose another question?
Yeah, so somebody's asking about the burn mechanics to sustain the game for the long term. So there are like a decent amount of burn mechanics into the game now. We want to start, we're working on developing external facing tools that will show some of this a bit better, like how much berry is getting minted each day and how much is getting burned each day. We need these tools internally as well. But yeah, that's gonna be publicly facing soon. One thing that we're working on now is we're working on better endgame, and that's what we're trying to address with Chapter 2. And if you play Pixels right now, the endgame is kind of building out, customizing farms, making them look nicer, and then also it's getting through like the harder quests as well too. The harder quests are a bit resource intensive. And then there's other things as well, like owning a pet. There's some end game around there, keeping it happy, keeping it fed. But yeah, this is just kind of the start of it. So Chapter 2 addresses that end game a lot better, where essentially we'll be introducing a new skill called exploration. It's going to tie very tightly in with the guilds as well. So guilds will have to work together, pool resources together around this exploration skill. And it kind of involves this new form of economic PvP. So it's not going to be like battling with swords or like magic, but there will be economic PvP where users and guilds will be fighting over basically scarce resources like basically going down that route. So yeah, team is working on better end game essentially for thinking about burn mechanisms even longer term. And then there's some other fun stuff that we'll be releasing too. Like for example, like the minting of pets, some of the guild features that we're releasing will have burn baked into them. And we also have some other fun stuff coming out too. And we haven't even talked about this one for a bit, but Realms is coming. That's basically going to be like sandbox for Pixels, and that feature is basically ready to release. Now we just got to kind of figure out like when the right time to time that is. But the team has been busy. We've been working a lot, and again, current game right now still needs work. There's still a lot to do, but that's kind of the fun part. Like what we could have done is we could have waited another year to release, right? Instead of releasing now, and like done our best guess at what a game, like the perfect Web3 game would be. We could have like tried to get all the balancing right from the very beginning, and got PhDs to like help us figure out the perfect plan and the perfect model. But the reality is that's not how the world works, in my opinion. I really think you got to be out there, you got to be trying things with real players, and you got to be releasing a lot to actually figure out what works. So this is our approach basically, rather than keeping all of our players waiting for so long with nothing to do and no game to play. We want to be building with you and kind of learning as we go.
Okay, choose another one. I'm still deep in it here.
Yeah. Do you think you made your pets fighting like Pokemon?
I just saw that one.
with Chapter 2, we had a couple directions to decide to go down originally. And Chapter 2 will not be down. We'll do Chapter 3, we'll do Chapter 4. So for Chapter 2, that was one of the things we had originally played around with. Like, do we want to do pet PvP first? But moving to the Ronin chain, it made a little bit less sense to focus on that first. Because you guys already have a pet battling game, right? You guys have Axie Infinity. So what we want to do is really complement the stuff that's already on Ronin, and give you guys some other unique things. And we really think this direction that we're going with guilds and like economic PvP will be very interesting. And that's what we'll focus on first. But then Chapter 3, maybe that's when we start to focus on pet PvP and do that kind of stuff as well. So again, that's like the kind of stuff that you guys get to help us decide. Like we want to know what you guys want. That's super helpful for us. We don't want to build stuff that people don't want to play. And you guys saying, oh, we need pets to fight, and you keep bringing that up in every AMA, that's going to influence us a lot, to be completely honest. We're very easily influenced. You just got to be loud and noisy.
No. Well, okay. This is KG being KG.
One pixel, one pixel, one pixel. Yeah. So all I can say on this is we're in a very great position for the pixel token. We're feeling very good about it. And team's priority, especially my personal priority, is to make sure this launch goes well and that we get this out, as soon as we can. So, there's a lot of stuff going on the back end there. Again, we have the most played Web3 game right now. So obviously, people are talking, and that's really all I can say on this right now. But yeah, we know the opportunity in front of us. Team is taking it very seriously, and we want to execute on it super well. So we have all the pieces together. Obviously, there's interest, and yeah, we have some other announcements adjacent to this coming soon. Things like funding, who's joined the round, who we're going to be building with in the long term. So yeah, expect some stuff there soon.
Okay. Do we need to catch the popcorn? No, you don't. You don't. So every AMA in the theater, we have like a small energy booster, and that's the popcorn flying everywhere. You do not need to catch it. I don't think you can catch it. So don't worry about that one. You just need to stand within the popcorn flying everywhere, and you're good. Okay. What's the future for the business skill? So this was actually from a project that we worked with New Cyber. They've gone through some ownership changes. So
yeah, I can speak on this.
Yeah.
The new Cyber is under new ownership now, and they actually hired a team to start to build stuff too. So we'll work and experiment to see like what we can get out with them, and like what they're capable of doing as well too. This new management's pretty good, and they have more resources than they did before. So I don't want to spoil or leak anything for them, but yeah, there's some stuff that they've been planning and are trying to get into the previous New Cyber tenant in the previous New Cyber realm. So yeah, we'll be working with that team to see like what they can do, how they can like get into our tooling and infrastructure, and then yeah, it's kind of an interesting double play too, because right, if we can get them to start to build out some interesting stuff inside of the tooling and infrastructure that we have, that's a really good proof point for releasing that towards more of our users. So it ties into Realms. Realms is this new feature that will be coming out pretty soon. Again, it's like ready and built, and now we just need to decide when to release it. Realms is basically going to be like creative mode for pixels, where you'll be able to create your own world, and it'll be actually completely from scratch. So you'll actually be able to upload your own in-game pixel art, things like tile sets, things like in-game objects, and create your own worlds. There's potential for us to build on top of that later as well, and allow you guys to do even more interesting things, like build your own mini games, like left right was built in the system. The shifting maze, like everything you see in the game was built with the system. So yeah, New Cyber will probably be the first to test that out and see what they can do.
Yeah. So if you're a pixel artist, I'm so excited to see you create in a realm. Oh my goodness, it's going to be magical. Okay, here's just a quick gameplay question. So are you going to implement the possibility of removing bees, drills, worms, slugs from the lands? So no, we will not. But I just want to, the second part, it's frustrating when the landowner takes them away. So we're well aware of this, and there is actually something in game. So if you've used, let's say there's an apiary on a land, and you have a queen bee in there, and you collect from there regularly, and then the landowner takes the apiary away. So the next time you enter the map, one of two things will happen. Either if you haven't used the queen bee a lot, it will return to your mailbox, and you can just reuse it on another new apiary. If you've used it a lot, that's when it will disappear. So we want to make sure that it's fair, obviously, if a landowner takes away an industry. So like I said, if you've used it a lot, it will go away. If you haven't used it a lot, it'll come in your mailbox. So you're good. Okay.
Yeah, I got one. Hey guys, salute from Spain. Are you planning to add more NFT projects for avatars like cyberclongs? So yeah, we have some cool stuff in the works. We feel like the prettiest girl at the ball right now. Everybody wants to work with pixels right now. So it's unlocking like some really cool partnerships like that. And for some of these ones, like CyberKongs, which they have their Genkai on Ronin. Yeah, we want to be working with everybody on Ronin. That's a high priority for us. So they've already spoiled some of the stuff, I think. There's something in the works there, but like there's some integrations with other NFT projects that we kind of think are special, right? Like we want to do something more than just an avatar integration. And I would say that CyberKongs falls into that realm. Axie Infinity falls into that realm too. So when we do something with them, it won't just be a normal thing. It'll be like a more in-depth integration. And we want to make it special, like some in-game quests, like fun stuff around that, maybe like their own area of the map, just to toss some hints there. But yeah, that team is awesome. I have so much respect for that team in particular. They're some of the best builders in Web3, extremely technical, have like implemented some really unique and cool stuff that's pushed Web3 forward. So it'd be an honor to work with them, basically. And yeah, there's more stuff coming too around that side of things. You'll see an announcement for one next week.
And I'm going to be in Spain in December. I wonder if we should do a little meetup, like a little meetup. That'd be fun. We'll see. We'll see. All right. We should wrap it up pretty soon here because we are over time as per usual these days. You guys have been asking so many. It's honestly insane to think we used to answer every single question that was asked.
If we can't now. Like I wish we could answer literally everyone.
Days. I know. I wish we could too. So anyways, if we've missed a question that you really want answered, please head to our Discord, one of the general chats, whichever one makes sense for your question. Ping the community team, ping the farmhands, Luke or I, and hopefully we can get to you and make sure your question is answered. But I think we maybe have time for like a couple more questions. So Luke, is there anything specific in here we want to address?
Yeah, there's some fun ones. This one, is it possible to do voice communication on specific groups in game? This is so if you guys haven't followed the Pixels project, when we first released Pixels, we actually had voice chat and even video chat in the game, where if you walked up to somebody, we had proximity voice and proximity video. And we turned that off initially because people in Web3, when we first launched it, did not like that. They really, really hated it. But that's something that we've been thinking about making optional and bringing it back. Like, for example, it fits in really well with the Realms feature if we bring that back. Where if we allow you to create your own virtual space where you can host your own events that are just kind of outside of Pixels. Like the product, what we used to be selling before Pixels was, we sold to companies like Uber, Apple, Rippling, Twitter, and they hosted virtual events and virtual parties for like actual employees inside of Pixels. And I think that's something that's like very interesting to potentially bring back. Like that's potentially a use case of Realms where we bring that back. I've been messing around when I have free time to like go back and code. It's funny because I don't code at all anymore really, except like this is a feature where I'm just messing and like might bring this back if I have free time. But yeah, if you guys really want this, let us know, because if we get a lot of people asking for it, then it might be more validation just to like quickly bring this back in, maybe even go voice only at the very beginning. And then that'd be an awesome addition to Realms.
Okay, keep going. I'm going to try something. 1 second. Sorry. I opened up our video. Just keep answering questions.
Yeah. What's a few more? So game longevity, we think about this all the time. Again, that's why we're addressing like structural issues inside of the game systems in Chapter 2. We'll be making a lot of changes to how Pixels works in Chapter 2. So I'm very excited to get that out. It's necessary. I'm guessing some of you won't initially like the changes, but I think it'll make sense to all of you when we do it as well. So that'll be super fun when we get it out. This person wants parties again. Yeah, so we were just focusing on server stability before we brought those back. And also the size of the parties have changed a bit too. Like there's eventually a max number of users that we can get into each room next to each other at the same time. And we're actually kind of approaching like the technical limitations of like WebSockets now, like the tech that we use for in-browser gaming. So yeah, we're bringing those back. They'll probably be instanced by room again. Like for example, if you remember left, right, there used to be like 1,500 people in it at once, and we broke it down by world. Like that's probably how we'll have to move the energy parties as well. So they work a lot better in like the instanced buildings like by world, for example, like the Drunken Goose, things like that they do on land for that reason right now. But yeah, those are slightly coming back already, and we'll start to do more and more of these. Can we dream of the possibility of 3D pixels? It's funny because I thought about this a lot a while ago, but I want to kind of give you insight into like the way that we think about this and the way that we think about building. I think that the game systems and all of the features that we're doing right now are the more important thing than graphics, even, which is maybe controversial. But for us, we think the real iteration and the real hard and difficult problems to solve around Web3 are the systems, the things like the reputation system, the resource generation, the economics. And that's where the team is putting all of our time and energy into. So yeah, once we get this sorted out, maybe pixels will look a lot different. Maybe we won't be called pixels in 2 years. And maybe we'll be called something else. Maybe we'll go like more in the traditional MMO route if things are going really well. But for now, this is like the perfect thing to be doing because we can iterate really quickly. We can try these systems out. We can test things. It's like the perfect playground, basically.
Yeah. Okay. Someone was just recommending that we try using a poll. So Luke and I actually use a system called StreamYard. So I had to hop over to YouTube itself to like try and do a poll in the chat. But I'm like, what should we poll just for fun? I want to try the feature. I don't even know. What's a good question? Like, what's your favorite crop? Like, what? Or, I want to know. Okay. What's your favorite carnival game? I'm genuinely curious. So we've got left, right, the corn maze, bump a grump, and beat the crowd. Start.
Someone asked if we can add a pixel art section on Discord for artists.
We do. We already have one. So we have a channel called Pretty Pixels, and it's basically any art. So it could be like a beautifully designed map, like a farm that someone's done a really good job on, or a beautiful UGC or pixel art or something like that. If we need to split it off into two, we can do that. But yeah, for now, just hit up Pretty Pixels. It's like the most beautiful, positive channel on our Discord because it's just people celebrating each other's work, and it's just, I love it. I love it so much. So yeah, I would suggest.
Yeah, and if you're not aware, look into the UGC side of things too. If you're a pixel artist, what you can actually do in-game right now is you can go to dashboard.pixels.xyz and upload your in-game objects that can actually become Pixels items. We just have to approve them if they fit with the art style, but then you can actually mint them and sell them inside of the game too, which is a really cool feature. And if you make a good one, yeah, they can get pretty sought after.
Okay, Corn Maze is winning. Corn Maze is winning. It's true. I think that's one of my favorite too. It's really fun. It's really, really fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
One more question on scholarships. Yeah, the scholarship stuff is interesting and not necessarily expected behavior, but we're seeing some of that just start to form without us doing anything around VIP. Like we're seeing some scholar programs come back for basically like helping people purchase VIP when they haven't had it yet. I even saw somebody offering to take Axes as collateral on VIP purchasing, which was interesting. So that's one of those things that we're looking at. And if it makes sense for us to support it in a different way, that might be interesting. We're open to it if there's like a good solution that comes around. I know somebody on the team has been suggesting it internally even. So yeah, we've been looking at that and just like kind of following along. So we'll see how some of that behavior emerges first. And then if it makes sense to integrate it in a better way inside of our game or systems, that might be something that we do. Or even if it's just something that we make a bit easier for guilds to help facilitate. That might be interesting as well.
All right. All right. So the poll, we've got 416 votes, 17 votes, and Corn Maze is winning by quite a bit. So good to know.
You know what's interesting is if you guys know what a Sokoban puzzle is or Sokoban puzzle, one of our developers made a system to make those out. it's kind of in the same line as the corn maze. That might be something interesting to release soon. If you guys haven't, if you don't know what that is, if you ever played Pokemon, and you have to like push those boulders around to get through a maze, and you have to push the boulders in like the right places. We have that sitting in our pockets. We just need to basically develop some levels around that, but that could be kind of fun.
Okay, I lost the comment, but someone asked for a meme channel on Discord. Absolutely, we will be adding that. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Going back to the pretty pixels comment, though, we actually have a little giveaway running. Well, no. Okay, it doesn't have to do with pretty pixels. I just interpreted it as my land is beautiful, so look at it. We have a little giveaway running though about like why should someone go to your land, right, on Twitter. So
yeah, there's 2 active giveaways right now, actually. So if you check in our Twitter, there's one about basically, trying to get people to come to your land. And if you are looking for a land to find and like start farming on, maybe go and check out that thread too, because there's a lot of good reasons to go on some of these people's lands. And then the other one is around the Pixels avatar stuff or the Pixels PFP rings. So that's when I want to push one more time before we head off on this AMA. Web3 triads. Is Web3 triads considered a guild?
I don't know. They're just amazing people in our community that have built. Is it a? I don't know.
Yeah, so Web3 triads is at least like a Pixels community. It's unofficial. They have this website, the Web3 triads. It's web3triads.com. And what they did was they created this Pixels overlay that you can add on top of your PFP on Twitter. It's really cool. Basically, you just upload the PFP that you have already, and it creates this outline around it. And if you go to our Twitter, you'll see that there's a contest that we're running really quickly, where if you comment and you have that overlay as part of your PFP, then you can win potentially 100 Ronin.
Yeah, I was so excited. I actually worked with the Web3 Triad team to build this out, and obviously that's me. It's so much fun. I feel like we should add a new one. The last one that was added there was for the event that we ran, Other Spec, but I wonder we should probably do like a Ronin one or maybe like a carnival one. I don't know. I'll have to think about it. Give me ideas, guys. But yeah, we have the Pixels one and then the Pixels land one, and then we have the Pixels purple one. Those are like the 2 go-to ones. But yeah, they're pretty cool.
Nice. Okay, this is just a hilarious comment too. And it's only funny because I was actually pushing for this for a while. So if you've ever played a game like Stardew Valley, I don't know why one of the most fun game loops in Stardew Valley for me was, getting a Stardew Valley girlfriend. And I always thought it'd be really fun to add into Pixels, but there's no system in place for that now. Again, if that's a feature that you really think would be a fun thing that we should add it to Canny. Keep asking the AMAs. That could be potentially fun, right? I always thought there might be a way to do that with trading too. Like if you trade specific users items, then maybe it adds like a relationship score on them. But right now, you just gotta role play. I think there is somebody that's doing unofficial Pixels weddings. I saw one the other day get posted. I think Nenzi married Kagi, or maybe
Really?
Zambina. No, I think Nenzi did the wedding. I think Zambina and Maggie maybe got married. I don't know.
Oh gosh, so funny. Yeah. Okay, cool. I'll post the link to the Web3 Triads Twitter just so you guys can like quickly access if you want those PFP overlays. But yeah, here we go. 525 votes for Corn Maze winning with a lead of, well, it's at 54% have voted Corn Maze. So we hear you. It's good insight.
All right, great. Well, I think that's wrapping up the AMA today now, everyone. But yeah, thanks so much for joining. We'll be in the Discord as well after. You'll be able to find me in the game as well too. And then yeah, if you have any fun ideas, again, keep letting us know. Keep telling us some of your ideas. This is a really funny comment. Corn Maze music better than Bad Bunny's album, and I'm not afraid to say it. I like Bad Bunny's album. I'm a Bad Bunny fan.
Yeah. Oh man, until you translate the songs.
Yeah. I
They're
have a lot of girlfriends. I have a lot of girlfriends.
They're extremely not farmer friendly. Let's just say.
No.
Anyways, okay, all right, cool. Thanks for coming and hanging out. You guys have been such a blast today. It's been a lot of fun. We do this every Wednesday. I think we'll occasionally start doing one here and there in other time zone. We'll see. We'll try and figure that out. But yeah, thank you all for coming out, asking great questions. And I know a bunch of you have also asked this when Energy Party is coming back. So we're going to rework it a little bit, but also the big answer is when servers can handle that capacity. So today's AMA is almost like a mini test because you guys are getting energy boosting right now. So we'll see. Hopefully soon. Hopefully soon. All right. We'll see you guys next week.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, guys.